what I'd like us to do is to go over a little bit further the 6 good reasons to object. Ladies and gents, might there be more than 6 reasons?
Sure.
Might somebody think of a reason that seems reasonable to us?
Sure.
Yeah. So what I'd like to do is ask that we have a volunteer who raises their hand, and Lauren will call upon them, and then just read, because you can read it up here if you can, or in that page in your handout booklet, this thing. The first of the 6 reasons, and we'll look at it. The second of the 6 reasons, and so on. Okay? So can we have a volunteer to look at the first one? Okay, thank you. Jackson. Loud voice? Loud voice?
The first one or all 6?
The first one.
One or more aspects of the proposal conflict with the circle's aim.
Okay. Our aim in the promotion circle is to help people outside the community know about us. We know who we want to know about us. Journalists, academic researchers who want to know about communities, neighbors, people in our town, potential work exchangers, potential visitors, potential people to take our classes and workshops if we have them, potential members. Does that sound reasonable?
Yes.
Is it possible one of us might, or we might, or another circle might make a proposal that is slightly outside our domain?
Yes.
Or that kind of conflicts with our aims, which are to, through electronic means and non-electronic means, get the word out?
Yes.
Do you think we'll know when it does? Probably. We hope so. If we have our aims written in words, in giant letters, that would take down to the copy shop to have blown up in a 2-foot wide poster that we put little blue masking tape around, or any color, we can probably keep our aim in mind a little better. Do you notice my fanaticism with wall charts and big letters? Yes, it's one of my fanaticisms. I hope it will become one of yours. Okay. Any other
Some of us may prefer Google Docs projected on a wall to flip charts. I'll just throw that out there as another good solution.
Oh my God, I'm having a conniption. But then I'm only working my way into this century already. Well, you probably know what I'm going to say now, which is you could try it one way for a period of time, see how you like it, build in some ways to measure and evaluate it. Try it the other way for an equivalent period of time with ways to measure and evaluate it. So you could apply sociocracy to how you apply sociocracy. Très cool, no?
Meta-sociocracy.
What?
Meta-sociocracy.
Yeah, exactly. Okay. Do you have anything to add to number 1 as a reason to object conflicts with our aim?
No.
Okay. Would somebody please volunteer to, in a loud voice, read number 2?
There are one or more obvious flaws or important aspects left out relative to the circle's aim.
Could somebody say more about that, or would you like to, Mickey? Can you imagine a scenario in which we're creating a proposal, but
Yeah, we had one where it was like, if we're going to have an event, it probably needs to have a budget.
Did I do that? Oh, it was me, not the rug. Okay.
So like if you forgot something, like, oh, we forgot a key way to measure this, or we forgot that we need to check with somebody about it.
So might we forget something when we're creating a proposal? Are we human? Most are. Possibly there are a few alien anthropologists disguised as humans among us. You never know. Okay, how many times do we have the opportunity to catch things we forgot? 3 times or more. What's the first time?
Clarifying question.
Well, I'd say the first time is when we're making a proposal. Don't you think? Because we can see at the end of the time we're doing proposal forming, which we'll know more about soon, that we can actually say incomplete, at the end of the whole process. Okay, thank you. We'll get back to you. Incomplete is a little bit like objection. And we get back to you and you say, we forgot to put in about blah, blah. So you see, that's our first chance. And our second chance is when we're doing consent decision making, right? And you said first time is clarifying question, and it's true if it's gigantic and big. But usually it would be in the consent round. And we have multiple consent rounds depending. And then we might have multiple chances to catch those things we missed. Do we have any time after that to catch the things we missed? When?
After it's implemented and you reassess it.
Exactly.
During the evaluation phase.
Yes, after we implement it. How many times must we do it? Warning, trick question.
As many times as needed.
As many times as needed, as many times as we want. Okay. Anything to add?
Nope.
Okay. So if we miss something and we can see at any given point, we basically are obligated to object. So let me ask you, is an objection a block?
No.
Nope.
Is it a veto?
No.
Is it objectionable?
No.
Is it rude?
No.
Okay. I consider it a gift to the circle.
No ways to later measure and evaluate implementing proposal or dates for this.
We forgot to do that. How could we forget? Hopefully, with all of the focus on feedback loops in this workshop, we will never forget for the rest of our lives. But if we ever happen to, we can certainly object. We might actually catch it in clarifying questions or quick reactions, right? Do you have any thoughts about or insights into there are no or insufficient or too many or inadequate ways to measure and evaluate is a good reason to object?
Yeah, well, I'd say overall, with the objections, kind of like the rest of these pieces for sociocracy, I think Diana has mentioned a couple times that other consensus works as long as everybody agrees, or certain kinds of voting work as long as the culture of a place is really good and shared. What I think the difference is when something breaks down, if the culture becomes not good, if there's a major disagreement, or even if there's just a turnover of people, which is what we're dealing with a little bit in the governance I'm participating in our co-op, which is that things may have been going really well as long as the same people were doing those things and operating under assumptions as they went along. When those people left, now we're left with trying to fill in pieces and make the governance stronger. So I think that that's what generally people can make objections, suggestions, work it out. If it works, it works. When it comes down to objections that take us into the realm of personal issues or things that don't have to do with the policy and decision making, that's when these criteria come in really handy, because they give you a net and a structure where it wouldn't have been there.
By net, do you mean like a safety net?
Yeah.
A way to catch things, a catcher.
Yeah, nothing falls through.
Nothing falls through. Yeah, that's how I see it too. What we have here is checks and balances. Here's how I see it. I see that there's checks and balances in each of these 5 meeting processes that we do in policy meetings. And I see that there's checks and balances in each of these 7 things regarding each other. The first 2 things that we mentioned are a way you make proposals with the feedback loops in them. And the second thing we mentioned is the structure of circles and double links and the 2 links and the domain name and so on and so on. These meeting processes totally relate to that. And I think that between all the checks and balances, what we have is a way to guard against a net to catch, filters that catch, abuses of power, people pushing each other around, people using undue, overwhelm, assertiveness, aggressiveness on one another, power over tactics, people using victim manipulation, hold the meeting hostage tactics. Not that the person's thinking this is a tactic. You know what I mean. That can happen in groups. We've seen it sometimes. Okay. It also catches that we didn't think of everything, that we might have overlooked something significant, So it really, really helps us be fair and equitable, transparent, and have equivalence. And it helps us be more effective. It helps us get more things done more fast with more connection and being better organized. All those 4 things. It also protects against us not remembering the things we would rather remember. So my guess is that with all of these parts working together harmoniously, like the many different parts of permaculture, helps us create higher yield landscapes with lower amounts of energy, money, time, and hassle. The same thing is true of sociocracy. By the way, how many folks know or have studied permaculture? Okay, great. So you probably know that what permaculture does is goes along with the way nature actually functions to raise the yield on the landscape and to lower the time and energy and stress and money. Sociocracy was designed to go along with the way human nature functions. We don't have to be more noble than we normally are because the checks and balances check and balance our normal human foibles. And it is designed to yield us a higher yield. More effective meetings, better organized, more fun, effective, efficient, and fun, like that first handout says. And that's one of the reasons I love it. It's kind of like a permaculture design. So, yes, a net that catches. Okay, somebody else, could you read number 4?
Sure, I'll read number 4.
Thank you.
Potential unintended consequences of implementing the proposal rig the circles aim.
Right. Might we not think of an unintended consequence when we created the proposal?
Yeah, absolutely.
Might we think of it when we're scanning that proposal for, do I have any objections? Think of it later. Yep. Might we think of it if we know stuff in our circle that the general circle didn't know about us well enough, even though we've got 2 folks in this circle and that circle, and then we see the potential unintended consequence that wasn't caught in the general circle when they gave us a proposal for our circle.
Yep.
Is that possible?
Absolutely.
Yeah. Okay. Anything to add?
Nope.
Okay. Somebody else, number 5. Paul?
One or more aspects are not well thought out or are expressed in a confusing way.
What do you think? Somebody want to elaborate on that? Have you seen proposals like that?
Of course.
Today.
Today?
Yeah.
Whoa.
No, I thought you did it on purpose.
Because I was so extremely clever, I made it like a crummy proposal. Yeah, that's what I did. I am going to run my proposals by some of my Sociocracy trainer colleagues. Don't you think that's a good idea? So that these exercises can become more clear and helpful in how they're instructional. And I'm not inadvertently confusing people. But you know how that is. Life on the planet, right? You learn things as you go along. So thank you again. Okay. Anybody want to comment on confusing, not well thought out? Might that happen in our group?
Absolutely.
Okay. Okay, so last person, and this one you may not know about yet. Somebody, would you read it nice and loud?
One or more aspects would not allow you to carry out your tasks in circle in regards to its aim.
What do you think that means?
Go for it.
Go ahead, Lydia.
It interferes with other tasks and other aims and other things that the group is working on. Like, for example, we have all this other stuff on our agenda, and we said we would do that on the 27th, but it's saying we'll do this on the 27th. We can't possibly do both things on the 27th. And we already said that we would do that thing.
Well, you know what? I think that is an unintended consequence. I think that's a different thing than when this is, because look at, see that word you and that word your? There's 6 of us in this circle. I have certain tasks that I do. I know more about those tasks that I do than any of you do. I know more than anybody in a whole organization because I'm doing those tasks. This proposal, which I wasn't there when we created it because I went to visit somebody, I realize will get in the way of my doing my tasks effectively. Well, you didn't know that because you're not the one who does my tasks. It's my job to object, to let you know that would interfere with my doing my tasks effectively. Were you trying to mess up me and my tasks? No. You simply didn't know what I knew. If I'd have been there when we were creating the proposal and my brain was on straight, I would have said, oh, no, wait, hold on. And then we would have modified the proposal we're creating. But as it was, I wasn't there. I get here today. We're considering this proposal that you all made in the last meeting, and it's my job to object to let you know this. Is this a bad thing?
No.
No, it's neutral. It's actually beneficial, right?